Good afternoon. I would like to call this meeting of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to order. Today's date is April 3rd, 2024. Our first order of business will be the roll call, which will be conducted by Jeff Jones, the Commission's legal director.
Chair French.
Here.
Vice Chair Conway.
Here.
Commissioner Friedman.
Here.
Commissioner Dieters.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Chair French, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Our next order of business is approving the minutes from the meeting of March 20th, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as prepared?
I move approval of the minutes as prepared.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes as prepared are approved. We'll now go through the items on our agenda, beginning with Judge Wallstra with all utilities. Item number 1, case 22755 AUCOI, please.
In this entry, the Commission approves staff submission to the U.S. Department of Energy an application for consideration of funding from the Grid Innovation Program at the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 1 is approved. Moving to electric with Judge Addison. Item number 2, case 2323 ELSSO et al., please.
In this opinion and order, the Commission modifies and approves the joint stipulation and recommendation filed in these proceedings and authorizes AEP Ohio to implement its 5th Electric Security Plan for the period of June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2028.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the opinion and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 2 is approved, and I do just have a couple of comments. So the settlement that we just approved today, supported by a wide range of consumer, business, and environmental organizations, will serve to improve the service quality and reliability of the grid across AEP Ohio's service territory and will reduce costs for AEP SSO customers. Incentivizing off-peak electric vehicle charging, smart thermostat programs, and customer and community assistance programs are exciting opportunities for Ohio consumers. Are there any other comments? Okay. Item number 3, case 24291 ELUNC, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission accepts the results of the auction to procure generation supply for the percentage of income payment plan program customers of the First Energy Utilities.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4, case 23598 ELCSS, please.
In this entry, the Commission grants the motion to dismiss pursuant to Ohio Admin Code 4901-9-01F, as the respondent has indicated all issues alleged in the complaint have been resolved.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5, case 23923 ELUNC, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission accepts the results of the auction conducted on April 2nd, 2024, to procure generation supply for AES Ohio's standard service offer customers.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 5 is approved. Item number 6, case 24104 ELORD, please.
In this entry, the Commission issues for comment proposed rules pertaining to the Commission's dispute resolution procedures.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 6 is approved. Item number 7, case 24132 ELUNC, please.
In this entry, the Commission directs staff to reissue a request for proposal for audit services to assist with the review of the uncollectible expense recovery of AES Ohio. All proposals will be due May 1st, 2024.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 7 is approved. Item number 8, case 24185 ELRDR, please.
In this entry, the Commission directs staff to issue a request for proposal for audit services to assist with the review of AEP Ohio's distribution investment rider. All proposals will be due by May 1st, 2024.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 8 is approved. Item number 9, case 23714 ELPEB, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission grants the joint petition of Duke Energy Ohio and AES Ohio to reallocate their electric certified territories in Clinton County, Ohio.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 9 is approved. Okay, moving to gas with Judge Shabo. Item number 10, case 2484 GAAEC, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission approves an application for a reasonable arrangement between Northeast Ohio Natural Gas Corp. and LH Battery Company.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Item number 10 is approved.
I do have a comment or two to make about this case, Madam Chair. Approval of this reasonable arrangement today will support a very substantial project that, when finished, promises also substantial economic benefits for both the customer, LH Battery, and for Northeast Ohio Natural Gas, and for the broader communities nearby, and for the state of Ohio generally. The parties' expectations and our hope is that the project will be a great success. I do share OCC's concerns, however, that if it is less successful than expected and hoped for, Northeast Ohio's other customers might be disadvantaged. Northeast Ohio has committed that its other customers will not be asked to bear any of the risks or costs from this project or the arrangement that we are approving today, or that we have approved today. Our staff has reviewed the project, as the order indicates, and the proposed arrangement, and as I understand it, believes that NEO's other customers are protected. It is based on Northeast Ohio's commitments in that regard, and staff's review, that we are conditioning our approval of the arrangement, and it's based on those commitments and review that I voted yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Conway. Any other discussion, comments? Okay. All right, item number 11, case 23736 GAORD, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission adopts proposed amendments to the alternative rate plan and exemptions rules in Ohio Administrative Code Chapter 4901:1-19.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 11 is approved. Item number 12, case 2412 GACSS, please.
In this entry, the Commission dismisses the complaint pursuant to Ohio Administrative Code 4901-9-01F upon the respondent's representations that all issues have been resolved.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 12 is approved. We do not have anything scheduled in telephone or water, so that takes us to transportation with Judge C. Item number 13, case 23240 RRSTP, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission approves the railroad's request for additional time until July 4th, 2024 to complete the installation of LED lights at 69 grade crossings in 11 counties in Ohio.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 13 is approved. Item number 14, case 23772 TRCVF et al., please.
In this entry, the Commission grants staff's motion for a default judgment based on the driver's and carrier's failure to appear at the hearing.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 14 is approved. We will call item number 15, case 23776 TRCVF, item number 16, case 23873 TRCVF, and item number 17, case 231047 TRCVF together, please.
In these three finding and orders, the Commission approves the settlement agreement between staff and the respondent and directs the respondent to pay the agreed-upon civil forfeiture.
Is there a motion for approval for items number 15, 16, and 17?
I move approval of all three finding and orders.
Is there a second?
Second to three.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, items 15, 16, and 17 are approved. Item number 18, case 23-1059, TRCVF, please.
In this entry, the Commission denies the respondent's untimely request to reopen this case regarding a violation of the Commission's transportation regulations.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 18 is approved. Item number 19, case 23-1159, TRCVF, please.
In this entry, the Commission grants staff's motion to dismiss with prejudice and directs staff to delete the alleged violation from respondent's safety net record and history of violations.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the entry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 19 is approved. Item number 20, case 24-237, RRFED, please.
In this finding and order, the Commission directs the railroad to install active warning devices at 8 grade crossings in the city of Circleville, Pickaway County within 12 months.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the finding and order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 20 is approved. That brings us to the end of that part of our agenda. So next, I would like to take a moment to recognize our March Employee of the Month, Annie Boss, and Commissioner Williams is going to read and present the resolution.
All right, well, thank you. I had the pleasure of attending your informal announcement a few weeks ago, and I was thoroughly impressed by just the energy in the room from your peers that I could tell that they truly appreciate your contributions to your team and to your department. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. As Commissioners of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, we are pleased to recognize the efforts of our dedicated staff. Annie has worked for the PUCO for 7 years. She has gone above and beyond to serve the state of Ohio in the mission of the PUCO. Annie serves as a utility specialist too in the Rates and Analysis Department of the PUCO. Annie's roles and responsibilities are an integral part in leading reviews for rate design and cost of service studies and base rate cases for all utilities, in conducting audits on annual electric transmission riders, and in assisting as an important team contributor on natural gas capital expenditure programs and other rider cases. Annie is instrumental and valued contributor to the success of the department. According to Annie's colleagues, she is a self-motivated leader who can be relied upon to provide insightful assessments, options, and recommendations for any matter that you ask her to consider. Further, Annie is viewed by coworkers as a highly intelligent, devoted employee who goes above and beyond in her casework and demonstrates gentleness and patience in difficult situations. For this, we convey to Annie our deepest gratitude. And this is signed by all the 5 commissioners. So at this time, we'd like to invite you to come forward.
All right. So the last item on our agenda today is going to be a presentation by staff regarding the electric SSOs and price to compare changes. But before we do that, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So if everybody could just be back here in 5 minutes. All right, thank you. Settled. Okay, once again, we are now going to start a presentation by staff regarding the electric SSO and price to compare changes. First up is Tim Benedict from the PUCO's Office of the Federal Energy Advocate. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners, for your time. The SSO, or Standard Service Offer, is the default rate for a customer who decides not to shop for an alternative supplier for the generation portion of their bill. For each utility, the SSO is established through a series of declining clock auctions in which suppliers compete against each other for the right to serve non-shopping load at the least cost. The SSO forms the basis of what we call the price to compare, which appears on each customer's bill and can be used to compare the default service rate to offers from competitive suppliers. The Standard Service Offer also acts as the provider of last resort, so all customers have a competitively determined price to fall back on if they choose whether to shop for generation service or not. Each utility selects an independent auction administrator who conducts each auction, and the Commission retains a consultant who assists staff in monitoring the process. The utilities themselves do not receive a profit on the results of the auction. As of today, just a few moments ago, the Commission has now approved the full auction results for each regulated utility, with new rates set to take effect on June 1st, 2024. The good news is that for each utility, the SSO rates will be decreasing significantly. For AEP, the average auction result is declining from 10.269 cents per kilowatt hour to 6.909 cents, a 33% decrease in the generation portion of your bill for SSO customers. For First Energy customers, the auction price is decreasing from 10.108 cents to 7.389 cents, a 27% decrease. For customers of AES Ohio, the auction results decreased from 9.656 cents per kilowatt hour to 8.009 per kilowatt hour. For customers of Duke Energy Ohio, the auction result decreased from 8.938 cents per kilowatt hour to 7.303 cents, an 18% decrease. While it's important to remember when the auction price, it does comprise the majority of the SSO rate, we won't know the final impacts on customer bills until staff has reviewed each utility's compliance tariffs to implement the new rates, which will go into effect, as I said, on June 1st. With that, I'll turn the discussion over to Sarah Perot, the PUCO's Federal Energy Advocate, to discuss developments at the regional and the federal level that influence SSO rates and the auction results.
Thank you, Tim. Before we jump into the recent developments in the wholesale markets, let's talk about some energy billing basics. The three main cost components of an electric bill are, for one, generation, or the production of the electricity itself; two, transmission, which is the movement of power over long distances through high voltage power lines; and three, distribution, meaning the movement of power over shorter distances through lower voltage lines to the home or business that uses and pays for the power. For the purposes of our presentation today, it is important to note that we are not addressing transmission or distribution costs. We are solely focused on the generation component, which again is the price of the electricity itself. The price of electricity is made up of two key parts: capacity and energy. I'm going to dive into capacity first. Broadly speaking, capacity is the commitment by a generating resource to provide electricity when needed in the future. The state of Ohio, along with all or parts of 12 other states and the District of Columbia, relies on PJM Interconnection, LLC, to safely and securely operate the regional electric grid. PJM also administers electric power markets, including a capacity market that secures enough power to meet expected future demand. More specifically, PJM conducts a series of capacity auctions to ensure that there are enough generating resources available and committed to meet the region's electricity needs, including an adequate reserve margin, meaning extra supply above the expected peak demand. These capacity auctions are typically held well in advance of when the generating resources are needed, 3 years before the start of a delivery year, which begins on June 1st and extends through the following May 31st. This 3-year window provides time for new resources to come online as necessary to support the reliability of the regional grid. For the past several years, however, PJM's regular auction schedule has been disrupted by delays that have been ordered or approved by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, which regulates the wholesale power markets. As it stands now, PJM is not expected to return to its typical 3-year ahead schedule until the capacity auction for the 2029-2030 delivery year. In the past, Ohio's SSO auctions have been impacted by the delays in PJM's auction schedule. Without an established PJM price for capacity, Ohio's regulated electric utilities have generally had to limit their SSO procurements to 1-year auction products only, rather than using a blend of 1-year and longer-term products, which helps to mitigate price volatility in the markets. To protect Ohio's SSO customers from the continued delay in PJM's capacity auction schedule, the PUCO recently directed the utilities to work with their auction managers to include in their SSO auction products a capacity proxy rate component for delivery years in which the actual capacity price is not yet established by PJM. After PJM's capacity price is known, a true-up process will occur to ensure that SSO customers pay only the actual price established by PJM's capacity auction. Implementation of this new capacity proxy rate mechanism has now begun and is expected to facilitate a return to more stable SSO prices that result from a blending of varied length auction products. Although there is still uncertainty in PJM's capacity market due to pending litigation, ongoing reform efforts, and other factors, the PUCO's adoption of the capacity proxy rate mechanism is a positive step toward greater price stability. Now let's turn to what has been happening lately in the energy market. As I mentioned, energy is the other main component factored into the generation portion of an electric bill. Wholesale electricity prices in PJM have decreased considerably since 2022. Monitoring Analytics, LLC, which is the independent market monitor for PJM, noted in its 2023 annual State of the Market report for PJM that energy prices were down in 2023 compared to 2022, due primarily to decreased natural gas and other fuel costs. PJM's real-time load-weighted average locational marginal price decreased from $80.14 per megawatt hour to $31.08 per megawatt hour, or a decrease of 61.2% from 2022. The independent market monitor noted that this is the largest annual dollar and percent decrease since capacity and competitive markets were introduced in 1999. These region-wide lower wholesale energy prices are reflected in the SSO rates resulting from Ohio's SSO auctions held in 2023 and the first part of this year. This is all very good news for SSO customers. As a result of the lower prices determined by market forces in the recent SSO auctions in Ohio, the SSO rates effective as of June 1st for the regulated electric utilities will be going down, as Tim explained, and SSO customers will see this decrease starting in their bills this summer. I'm now going to pass the baton over to Barbara Bossert with the PUCO Service Monitoring and Enforcement Department. She's going to address options available to customers to compare offers and manage their energy bills.
Hello. Thank you, Sarah. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to provide information to you and consumers about ways to manage their energy cost. If you remember, last year I advised consumers about the ability to shop for generation or energy supply rates offers by visiting our Energy Choice of Ohio website. Many consumers took advantage of this advice. According to the PUCO Energy Choice data, consumers enrolled with the retail electric provider increased from 44% in January of 2023 to 66% by December of 2023, with the largest number of customers switching during the May and June time period. For many customers that signed a 1-year fixed rate contract during that time period, they should be receiving their renewal notices from their suppliers about this time. I want to remind consumers their renewal notices from their suppliers should include, either another offer for a new fixed rate, or will advise them of their next rate offer. I remind consumers to pull out their contracts and review their terms and conditions for their renewal requirements. If customers are up for renewals, as with any competitive service, they should shop around and explore the best offers that meet their needs. I encourage consumers again to review their bill for their price to compare, which will be changing in June based off the utility auction prices that Tim mentioned earlier, often referred to as the SSO price or the default utility rate. Consumers should compare that rate to the rate that they are charged currently for generation, and then review their contract terms and conditions if they are with a supplier, and our Energy Choice website to determine which product and electricity rate is best for them. To find plans and competitive retail electric service providers and natural gas providers, consumers can visit our Energy Choice Ohio website at www.energychoice.ohio.gov. The website provides great information on Energy Choice and how to shop. Some of the information includes the average price to compare or the standard rate offer for natural gas that utilities will bill to residential customers that do not choose to shop. A list of participating suppliers, their contact information, rate offers, environmental characteristics, early termination fees if they have any. They will also include their variable or fixed rates that they are offering. Some may offer flat prices as well. There will be a list of questions to ask your suppliers before signing a contract. Some of those questions are to make sure you understand the price per kilowatt hour, how long the rate will last or the term of the rate, how often the price will fluctuate, and the factors that will cause the price to fluctuate. Also, you want to make sure you know if there's any additional fees, such as early termination fees or monthly fees. Consumers should remember to mark their calendars at the end of their initial term so that they can revisit their options and make sure the rate they are paying is a competitive rate. As a reminder, it takes 1 to 2 billing cycles to enroll with a supplier. So even though you may have signed a contract in May, you may not be enrolled until your June billing month. So please contact your supplier if you want to verify the date of enrollment, or you can look back at your historical bills. As you are aware, the PUCO certifies the competitive retail electric service providers to ensure that they have the managerial, financial, and technical capabilities to provide service in Ohio. The PUCO enforces consumer protection rules that prohibit unfair, deceptive, and misleading marketing in the sale of competitive retail electric service and natural gas. In addition, our rules require accurate and understandable pricing, terms, and conditions of service, and provide residential customers with 7 calendar days to rescind or cancel their enrollment after they receive a notice from their utility of the pending switch. This allows customers time to review their terms and conditions and cancel if they desire. Also, many communities are certified as governmental aggregators. These communities can use their buying power to secure a competitive rate. Many programs are opt-out programs, which will enroll consumers unless the consumer opts out of the enrollment. As of December 2023, of the 66% of customers that are currently shopping, 42% of them are enrolled in a governmental aggregation program. Consumers can visit our website and to view the governmental aggregation maps to determine if their community is part of an aggregation. They can also visit their city or county websites. Another way to manage your utility bill is to manage your usage. There are a few simple things customers can do to reduce their energy bills. By reducing their energy usage, they could increase their thermostat by 5 degrees when they're away from the home, decrease the water heater to 120 degrees, avoid creating unnecessary heat and humidity in the house during the middle of the day by washing dishes, doing laundry, bathing, or cooking either before noon or after 8 p.m. Also, taking shorter showers will, whenever possible. Close your window blinds and curtains during the day to block the heat. Shut off the lights when leaving the room, turning off your computer and your computer monitor as well when you're not using it. And look for energy efficiency products when purchasing new appliances, shower heads, light bulbs. In addition, the Ohio Department of Development and many utilities, both gas and electric, have weatherization programs. I just noticed the screen pop up, sorry, has weatherization programs for qualifying low-income households, typically starting July 1st during the start of the summer cooling programs. These programs can help replace insulation, repair or replace furnaces, water heaters, and other things to make homes more efficient. I recommend consumers visit Ohio Department of Development or their utilities websites to learn more about these programs. As a reminder, if a customer needs assistance paying their utility bills, utilities will offer payment plans to help prevent disconnections, or will have budget plans to help spread payments out over the year. Some utilities offer bill assistance funds to customers that may not qualify for other low-income programs. Many are funded by shareholders or by customer contributions. Customers should contact their local utility to see if there's any funds available and to learn more about the programs. In addition, customers at or below 175% of the federal income level may qualify for the federally funded Home Energy Assistance Program, known as HEAP, or for the Percentage of Income Payment Plan. Customers should visit their local community action agencies for more information and to apply. If consumers have any questions or concerns regarding energy choice and any information they heard today, the Public Utilities Commission's call center is available to assist. Consumers can contact us by filling out the Contact Us form online or by calling 1-800-686-7826. Finally, the PUCO staff is available to provide energy choice presentations to consumer groups that are interested to learn more about energy choice. Anyone wishing to learn more or to have the PUCO come to speak to them can request a speaker form on the PUCO or Energy Choice website, or reach out directly to the PUCO Outreach Coordinator, Jill Coker. The Public Utilities Office of Public Affairs also pushes out a lot of information via the website, email newsletters, the PUCO's social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We also send messages to email and text subscribers each time the utility standard service offer rates change, which is the price to compare or the standard choice offer, and are updated with information on how these prices are derived and their options via the Energy Choice Ohio website. One can subscribe simply by signing up using a form at the bottom of the PUCO website. That ends my presentation. Thank you.
Great. Tim, Sarah, Barb, thank you very much. Are there any questions?
I have a couple questions, if I could go ahead. First for Tim and then second for Barb. So Sarah points out or explains, Tim, that on the bulk power market pricing side, from 22 to 23, the dollars per megawatt hour price for bulk power energy went from roughly $80 to $30, a reduction of about 60%. And then on the retail side, which is standard with regard to standard service offer pricing, you explained that from the last set of auctions previous to the current ones, there's been a reduction in the 15 to 30%, depending on the electric distribution utility involved in the pricing for standard service offer power this year compared to last year. Could you provide some background or explanation for why we haven't seen the same magnitude of reduction in the standard service offer price from last year's set of auctions to this year's set of auctions, and what might be involved in it, including, I imagine, some remaining migration risk that surfaced the last time they went up and is still probably affecting them. But if you could just give some explanation about that. And then Barb, what are we doing to make sure the customers who took advantage of the lower competitive supplier prices last year to get off of the standard service offer option and take advantage of more competitive, better prices from competitive suppliers? What do we do to make sure that they continue to understand that they have an option to the standard service offer, even though it's gone down? There might be a better option out there among the suppliers, or not, but there might be a better option from competitive suppliers, and they don't get put on a renewal rate that somehow is then ends up being a surprise to them. So first Tim, and then second Barb.
Sure. Thank you for the question, Commissioner Conway. While we would generally expect to see SSO auction prices approximate or follow wholesale market conditions, your observation is correct that we haven't seen the same magnitude of decreases here in Ohio that we've seen generally in the wholesale market. I think you've kind of successfully diagnosed one of the main factors contributing to that. An Ohio bidder is absorbing what we call the provider of last resort, or the polar obligation that falls on each utility. So they don't just provide the energy and capacity needed to serve a fixed native load. They're subject to migration risk, meaning at any time they can lose customers or gain customers. And there's a very real cost from having to absorb that obligation. And I think we saw that manifest in 2022 when energy prices increased dramatically associated with the war in Ukraine and other factors. So I think that's probably the most predominant reason why we see a risk premium or a price differential between the SSO auction rates and the wholesale market conditions.
I was kind of hoping you might suggest also, Tim, that, and this is actually the other part of for me, what I'm looking for is the answer to the question. Would there also tend to be some lag time between translating changes from the wholesale bulk market space to the SSO space, assuming, for example, that this reduction from the $80 per megawatt hour to $30, relatively speaking, megawatt dollar per megawatt hour level on the bulk power side of things, suppose that continues on for another year, will there be some additional influence downward because of some catch-up or a lag time between passing through the changes at the wholesale level and the retail, the SSO procurement level?
Absolutely. That's a great point, and I can provide you with a very recent example. So as you notice from our presentation, the AES rate is slightly higher than the other utilities, just over 8 cents. Part of the reason for that is we actually held a 24-month auction for AES almost exactly a year ago. So it was April 4th of 2023, if my memory serves. And at that time, market conditions were higher. That auction came in at, I want to say it was $90.14 a megawatt hour. And so that was a 2-year product that won't drop off on June 1st of this year. So it's locked in for another delivery year. And just to put that into context, I think the last AES auction that we held yesterday, the commission approved today, came in just over $70 a megawatt hour. So, you're blending 9 cents a kilowatt hour on a 2-year product from a year ago that hasn't fallen off with the current market conditions, which are, producing a rate that's closer to 7 cents. So there's certainly a lag there before the SSO market prices reflect the underlying wholesale prices.
So there's some potential, assuming things remain as beneficial in the in the current situation. I guess I'd call it beneficial in the wholesale market space. There's still potentially room if that does happen, that there'll be additional downward movement in the SSO rate if things work out according to that description.
I'm certainly hopeful, and time will tell.
Yeah, okay. No commitments. I understand that. Barb?
Hi. Yes. Well, what we're doing, like as we're doing today, we are trying to get the information out to customers to know where to find their rates on the bill, know where to find the price to compare, and to view our Energy Choice website. Customers need to know that they have a terms and conditions and a contract, and that will advise them what happens at the end of their term. It should have their term on there, their price on there, and what happens at the end of their term, how it will renew. So we are just going to work with our Public Affairs Department and get out as much information as we can to educate customers, to make sure that they are looking at their bill and looking at their contracts if they are shopping, and to view our Energy Choice website. There's a lot of good information out there, but they need to understand when that rate changes and what that, when their term ends and what the next rate is going to be. And then they need to, it's a competitive industry, so they need to go out there and look around and see what type of offers are out there. Some of them are longer than 1 year. They might have signed a 2 or 3 year contract. So we do ask customers to make sure they understand their early termination fees. And if your rate is high and you want to switch, we advise people, calculate it out. Is it worth the early termination fee if you're going to save money after that year? So the customers just need to educate themselves, and we have a lot of tools for them to do that.
Thank you, Barb. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. Vice Chair Conway, any other questions or comments? No? Okay. All right. Again, I want to thank all three of you and your respective departments. I know a lot of work went into this presentation, so this very informative and helpful presentation. Thank you for being here today. Okay. All right. The next commission meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 17th at 1:30 in this room. Are there any additional comments from staff or my fellow commissioners? Okay. Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.